Hi, I'm Candace.
And I'm Ripley.
And I'm John.
And this is Comicsplaining.
The show where we mixed our whites and our colors and now all our shirts are pink.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe the New Mutants shouldn't have done that.
Definitely the New Mutants shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Yikes.
It's a problem.
Daddy's not pink for once.
For once. She is in the corner box, but she's not on the cover. But
That's...
I mean, the pinkness is not the only issue, but, you know.
So much of this is just... Oh no.
It's a lot.
There's a lot going on, yeah.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, might as well catch you up on our Spider-Man progress. So one interesting thing about this show is that very focused on Doctor Doom being the primary antagonist.
Literally every other episode is a Doctor Doom episode.
Because Doctor Doom is definitely Spider-Man's number one antagonist.
Famously, Doctor Doom is a Spider-Man guy.
Yes.
As we all know.
No one can match Doctor Doom's
I would have even accepted,
nemesisness.
like, fucking Kingpin, because Kingpin was originally a Spider-Man antagonist.
Yeah.
You don't think of him when you think of Spider-Man antagonist, but
Not
he was
anymore.
originally.
Yeah.
But no.
Nope.
No.
That was not what we got. Common themes of this Spider-Man cartoon: Doctor Doom, the UN, and NASA.
Uh-huh.
Constantly.
I don't know why they're so obsessed with NASA.
I don't know.
So that's what's been going on with that. You finished your vest. Not that anybody's been coming up with that, but I wanted to shout you out for that.
Yeah, I did a thing. I mean, John, it was sitting right next to you the whole time. It's on the back of Ripley's chair.
It is.
Oh.
I would turn around more, but it's
I
kind of
see.
impossible for me.
I'll show it to
Do
you.
it anyway.
I'll show it to you afterward. Yeah, I did some embroidery on my vest. We have not talked about that on the show.
No.
But Ripley's excited about it, apparently.
I am. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Anyway, can you guys tell me what happened last week on New Mutants?
There was a guy named Axe.
Yeah, who was not Mr. T.
That's true, but before that, we had some dealings with another team.
Oh, yeah. They were... No, wait. Something happened to Karma. Was that last time?
That something did happen to Karma, but
God,
before that,
I
something
blanked
happened to Moonstar.
I literally blanked it out.
I...
Team America.
Fuck yeah!
Oh, God. Right. Oh, they were at a carnival, right?
They were at... I think it's implied to be the state fair, but it was... They never said that outright.
Carnival. They were at a carnival. That's all that matters. And there was Team America, who, if you're not aware, because you're probably not,
Their number of appearances can fit on 4 hands?
wow, that's a lot of hands. Team America is like a team of motorcycle trick riders.
They had a book.
They had a book, briefly. And then they didn't have a book.
And now they're here.
Chris decided to put them in New Mutants.
I don't think Chris decided to do it.
Okay, well, whatever. They were there, and they were on motorcycles. And apparently there's something called a Black Rider that protects them.
And it turns out it's their mutant ability. Their
yeah,
shared
because
mutant ability.
every single one of them is a mutant, and they all have the same ability.
Despite
none of them being related.
That somehow they share this ability amongst themselves as a unit.
And the ability is that subconsciously they create this Black Rider spirit thing and attach it to just a random person. So someone tried to attack them and the Black Rider showed up. And it turned out the Black Rider was Danny, but she wasn't. She didn't know she was doing it. She got kidnapped.
She did not opt into being the Black Rider.
No, she did not consent. She got kidnapped, and there was a whole thing because Chuck was, like, prioritizing Team America over the children. And,
by the way, former Madam Hydra Wolverine's waifu's brother
Yeah. His brother-in-law.
Yeah, brother-in-law.
Future brother-in-law. They're not married yet.
I don't care.
Are working together.
Yeah,
which is a.
It's a ship, and they. I mean, it literally is.
Oh my god! I'm not shocked, but
no, it was a ship in the comic we read.
They were hanging out in bathrobes.
They were.
And I don't think anyone ships that in like fandom terms. I'm just saying it was literally canon.
I am now curious.
I doubt it. But anyway, this is not important. So the New Mutants went to go rescue Danny because Madame Hydra had, or whatever the fuck her name is, Viper, had her, Viper, formerly Madame Hydra, had her kidnapped because she wanted something. And Chuck was training Team America, so the New Mutants were like, well, we're gonna go get our friend. And they did that, but then Karma fell into the ocean.
And Team America got bribed into, got blackmailed into stealing something from AIM.
That's what they were doing. That's what Chuck was babysitting them through.
Yes.
Yeah. Instead of paying attention to the children.
Yes.
And while Karma got talked into working for her uncle for a year.
Yeah, but then she fell into the ocean.
And vanished for good.
I consider that to be a moot point.
Yeah.
Because she's very, very dead, I promise.
And then they were looking for her. It was not going very well.
The X-Men
showed up.
The proper real X-Men show up.
Well, there's only one X-Men. The New Mutants
Right.
X-Men.
There's only one X-Men.
The New Mutants are not the X-Men.
For now. There's only one X-Men.
I think there's always only one X-Men.
Really?
Yeah. They get different team names.
Yep, they get different team names.
I didn't know that.
There's like X-Force, Excalibur.
Oh god, this is going to be a nightmare.
Later on, when there's more X-Men, they just get kind of differentiated by saying like the gold team and the blue team. And
amazing.
Yeah. But there's always only one X-Men.
The X-Men are the X-Men and the New Mutants are the New Mutants, and never shall the twain meet.
So this is not the Avengers problem. You know how there are a billion Avengers, so everyone can go around calling themselves the Avengers, and it's kind of a problem that... So which Avengers were the Avengers this time?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I see what you're saying. But anyway, Karma fell into the ocean. They were looking for her. The X-Men were there. And then Chuck called Roberto's mom to take them on a vacation in South America.
To Rio! Where he's from.
And
nothing bad could happen there.
And go on like a safari to some river or something.
And nothing bad could happen there.
Nothing bad could happen. They got attacked by Mr. T.
And, God, what are they called?
The Hellfire
Club.
The
Hellfire Club, yes.
Right, they're still kicking around.
I'm very confused about how those masks work, by the way.
I don't know.
Part of it looks like it's their skin, and part of it doesn't. But, yeah, the Hellfire Club was there, and it turns out that Roberto's dad was working with the Hellfire Club.
To get rid of his wife.
Not to get rid of his wife, just to stop her from going on the trip.
Okay, but now he's gonna get rid of his wife.
We'll see what happens with that.
Because apparently we're going to the Romans and the Amazon. Oh no.
Was that it?
Yep, that about sums it up.
Okay, I tried really hard. I could not remember most of that. This is
did your
actually the
best?
first time in a while that I just didn't fucking remember.
We could mention about how AIM had a base at Black Mesa.
Let's not.
Let's not. We did about all we needed to with AIM there. They didn't really cover a whole lot.
They did not. They were not relevant in any way.
Why did it need to be AIM?
It didn't.
We're starting off this week with New Mutants 8 from June of 1983, written by Chris Claremont, penciled by Sal Buscema, inked by Bob McLeod, colored by Glynis Wein, and lettered by Tom Orzechowski with a cover by Bob McLeod. Rain Sinclair prowls the lush jungles of the Amazon rainforest in her lupine form.
Invasive species!
The wolf girl is on the hunt for something, and as soon as her keen senses lock on, she leaps up into a tree, eyes on the prize. It's Danielle Moonstar, doing her best to hide. She's going to lose this little game of hide-and-seek. Rain plops down behind her, scaring the daylights out of the other girl. Rain laughs and laughs until tears begin to well up in her eyes. But Danielle doesn't find it funny at all, mind locked onto the idea that she could have hurt her friend with her spirit forms. She yells at Rain for the surprise, but that's when Rain begins to waver on her feet, falling forward into Danny's arms. She's been sweating up a storm, and between the heat and humidity, Wolfsbane's not doing so hot. Danny suggests she get undressed, but the young Scotswoman refuses, knowing the boys are out there. Speaking of, nearby Sam and Roberto are confused as to why they haven't been found yet. Sam suggests that Rain may be lost, a bit concerned about their own fate on that one. When they hear the girl barking, though, they follow the ruckus to its source. It's Rain, of course, rolling and frolicking in a snowstorm conjured up by Danny. Practice for the young mutant.
Huh.
I didn't know she could do that.
It's not a real storm, for sure. But Rain thinks it is, and that's what's important to Danielle.
Is it? If she has a fever, I don't think an imaginary snowstorm is going to solve that.
Right, that's what's important, not the dehydration or the heat exhaustion.
Right. Yeah. Hey, Chris, this is dumb.
Since Danny and Rain have gotten their practice in, Sam decides it's his turn, blasting off to slalom through the trees.
Why are they just goofing off in the rainforest?
They have nothing better to do.
To and fro, he weaves a path until he loses track of where he's going and slams into a massive tree.
Oh my god.
Nearly toppling it onto his friends. The only reason he doesn't smush them all is Roberto, who quickly transforms to punch the tree to splinters with a single blow. They're all fine, but Roberto Loraxes it up, angry on behalf of the trees. He's still holding a grudge while he prepares their video call home to Westchester, ready to share the readings on their makeshift training session.
Video call. Chuck's so far away he can't do mind link.
Chuck's happy with what he's seeing, but what the kids want to know is about Sean and if she's all right. In this case, no news is bad news.
Yeah.
And Charles, at the very least, says he thinks her dead. It's glum news, and part of them want to return. But Chuck is still busy training up Team America.
Fuck yeah!
Great.
So the professor insists they continue their holiday. Something I'm sure will go off without a hitch.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Because everything they've done has been so safe so far.
As they head back to the boat, the kids discuss Chuck's conclusions. Danny's not so sure Charles was leveling with them, though some of the others aren't sure they agree. But enough of that. They can see the boat, and Moonstar, for one, doesn't plan to slog the whole way back. Instead, she strips down to her skivvies, plunging into the cool river waters, much to the alarm of her friends, as she begins the trip across the river.
Hey, Danny, there's, stuff in that river. This is the Amazon rainforest. I would not trust that.
One of the crew members aboard may actually have an inkling as to why the kids are panicking. And he plans to contribute, chucking a bucket of slop over the side to draw out the piranhas.
Oh, a classic.
That's not how piranhas work.
As the water begins to churn, Psyche realizes too late her mistake. The fish begin to swarm, but despite their numbers, Moonstar is able to pull an image from their minds to scare the fish long enough to call for Sam.
What are fish afraid of?
What are piranhas afraid of?
Bigger fish.
True.
There's always a bigger fish.
Sure, it means sacrificing their secrecy, but right now that's hardly the most important thing. So Cannonball kicks it on, barreling across the water towards their friends. He does pull her from the water, albeit painfully, but as usual, landing is a bit of a predicament for Sam. He overshoots the boat and plunges them down messily in the sand before a group of spear-wielding indigenous women.
Who are not pink anymore.
They're not pink, but they're also not too happy to see them.
Danny is pink.
Yes.
Danny, as usual, is pink. Immediately, the women attack, and the kids are forced to fight back.
Great.
But the struggle doesn't last long.
Oof.
Danny thinks they were mostly just surprised by their dramatic arrival. With more coming from the boat, most of the women flee. All but one Sam has snared around the middle for some reason. There's friction back aboard the boat over Sam's display.
What the fuck? Sam! Why?
Great question. I have no answers.
For questioning, I guess.
These people live here. You idiot.
Yeah.
She did nothing.
She didn't do it. They were just chilling there, and then you rocked up and they were like, what the fuck? Like, come on, dude.
Some of the crew are unwilling to carry on with Sammy aboard, likening him to a monster.
Fun.
He didn't even... Okay.
But the captain of the board won't hear it. He's got some support among the men. One of them, Castro, the dick who deliberately dropped the chum bucket, thinks they might even come to call on Guthrie's abilities in time. That seems to settle the matter with the men, and the boat departs before it can find any more trouble with the locals. That might be helped some if they hadn't fucking kidnapped that girl.
Right?
What the fuck? Just let her go!
Come nightfall, we find Mrs. DaCosta and the kids attempting to question their captive, being very normal.
Yeah, super, super fucking normal.
She either won't or can't answer their questions, and a lot of things about her weapons just aren't adding up. She's got arrows from different tribes and what seems to be a modern steel knife.
I imagine there's a trade network here.
Everything about the young lady only answers more questions.
Mr. Claremont, this is cringe. I hope you know that.
Little do they know in the now re-anchored boat that on the shore the girl's friends have caught up with the yacht and are merely awaiting their chance to strike. Back in Rio, Sebastian and Emmanuel are still chilling out.
Ugh.
Castro, as it turns out, is even less solid than we first thought.
Great.
Oh, fun.
He's working for Shaw and has been attempting, to little success, to sabotage the expedition, yet again leaving DaCosta disappointed in the abilities of the Hellfire Club.
Yeah, sure showing off how effective the Hellfire Club is.
Fair enough.
Sebastian yet again points out that it's hard work doing this without killing Nina and the kids, especially given said kids' abilities. At this, Emmanuel hardens. Satellite surveys have shown the possibilities for limitless mineralogical resources. Wealth beyond belief. Wealth he's unwilling to let even his feelings for his wife and son interfere with. A man after the Black King's own heart. He then ushers in some beautiful women to entertain them for the night.
Cool.
You don't want your son to inherit your empire?
Your limitless wealth.
Wow.
Back on the Amazon, the boat's destination is now in sight, and the captain tells the kids tales of a mythical city of gold ruled by gods from the other side of the world.
Cringe.
Nestled in the mountain peaks the Mediera is birthed from. Many have tried to find this legendary city, and none have succeeded. The boat comes to a fork in the river, and the captain cautions that down the path they don't take are rapids, so beware. Even with all the excitement, they still have a prisoner to tend to. So Rain dips down to bring the girls some soup and tea, only to find Castro going for the hat trick on his heel status.
Wow.
Oh my god. Fuck this guy.
Attempting to beat some answers out of Amara. When Sinclair grabs his arm, he instead turns his attention on her, belting the girl.
That's gonna go over well.
Uh-huh.
That's his mistake. Before his horrified eyes, Wolf's Bane transforms, a guttural growl emanating from her throat. Scared shitless, Castro books it for the door, leaving just the two young women together. She unties the native girl and introduces herself despite the language barrier, learning Amara's name in turn. That's all fine and well, but dinner is ruined. Perhaps it's that's the last straw for Sinclair. Tears begin to well in her eyes, and with a confessor she knows won't be able to tell, Rain unburdens her heart, sobbing over the way Castro looked at her, all too similar to the townsfolk back home when she first transformed. Given what just happened, Wolfsbane departs to let Nina know what Castro was up to. But she immediately stumbles into the captain, dead with an arrow in his back.
Oh.
Fun.
She doesn't have any time to react before Castro cracks her in the head with a rifle butt, knocking her out.
Ooh, that's a bleeder.
Well, it's her natural state, bleeding.
Bleeding on the ground is because...
Yeah,
you have not been exaggerating that
It's a
this is her
habit.
natural state.
When she comes to, she finds herself surrounded by her friends and Amara, all similarly unconscious, but for Roberto, who's beginning to come out of it himself. He punches their way out of the room, but their situation isn't exactly improved.
Oh my god.
They're on the wrong branch of the river, headed towards Chekhov's Rapids.
Yeah, don't show off rapids that you aren't going to use.
True.
He tries to turn the boat, but the current is too strong. Tries to beach it, but there's nowhere to go. Tries to start the engines, but they're wrecked. It's no use. And as the boat enters the rapids, there's nothing they can do but try to get on deck and brace for impact.
Yeehaw?
Woohoo!
Wahoo!
Wahoo!
As the boat splinters to pieces, Cannonball bursts into action, blasting off to grab Danny from the churning waters.
When did he regain consciousness?
When he hit the water.
Okay, fair enough.
Roberto gives it his own go, fearlessly braving the current to rescue his mother from where she clings to a rock, only for it to go sideways. As he swims, he's clunked on the head, and the boy loses his focus.
Oh no.
No longer does Sunspot brave the waves. No, Roberto da Costa just fights the undertow the best he can, still trying to get to his mother. But eventually the current wins out, dragging the boy under. Things are looking bad when along comes today's MVP. Sam Guthrie makes another pass, pulling the boy from the water and depositing him ashore. Meanwhile, Rain leaps from rock to rock, attempting a rescue of her own. Amara, too, threatens to be washed away by the rapids. Not if Rain has anything to say about it. She gets there just in time to grab the girl's hand, though the fierce current still rips at her, pulling her head beneath the surface of the rough waters.
Oof.
With Rain tugging as hard as she can to keep the girl above water,
What?
Amara finally surfaces, revealing that all along she's been in brownface.
What?
Weakening, Rain desperately encourages Amara to do anything to help save her face, to which the girl agrees, in perfect English.
What?
Okay, this is cool. I love it.
Rain,
Awesome.
Rain is, to say the least, mortified at the things she confessed back in the boat.
Well, that's, not the only thing wrong with this scenario.
But she continues in her efforts to save Amara, shifting into her transitional form to finally pull her from the water, with a future demand for some answers. That's when Sam blasts by, searching for Nina with no luck.
Ooh.
When they finally make their way to the shore, Roberto is devastated, needing to be held back from the water's edge to stop him from trying to go in after her. There's no time for mourning, though, as with a booming voice, a Roman soldier orders them to stand where they are, taking them as slaves for Rome.
The 4th Maniple, 1st Cohort, Thunderclap Legion.
How'd y'all like that?
This was cringe.
I didn't like it. I mean, I liked... The overall story was not bad.
But there's a lot of cringe in there.
The cringe is integral. The cringe is in the foundations.
Yeah.
The cringe is not coming out.
The cringe is inside the house.
I'm gonna go with 2.
Yeah, 2.
Like, the story itself, fine. But...
I think there was a lot of cringe. I'm going to look at the story itself and try to ignore the cringe.
I can't.
No, cannot escape.
The cringe is going to give it a ding. I'm going to say it's at a 2.75.
Okay.
That's a ding for you?
That's a ding. I give it a ding of a... Now I'm going to give it a ding of a 0.5 rather than a 0.25.
Yeah, I was going to say, the story itself is definitely... The story itself is definitely a 3. Like, it's fine.
It's not a bad basic story, but...
Gonna give it a ding of a 2. Get it at a 2.5 because I was giving it a ding of a 0.25.
Yeah.
But between the Indian kidnapping and the Indian brown face? What the fuck? What the actual fuck? Never mind the imperialism of just being there, sailing down the river like they own the place.
You can take a boat down a fucking river. That's not an issue.
Depends on whose river it is.
Depends on how you're doing it. But that in and of itself is like, fine, whatever. The problems came when they started attacking and kidnapping people. But also, those people are ancient Romans, so...
What the fuck?
Alright, how'd you think CMRO liked that?
4.
3.5?
2.91.
Ah.
Okay.
Continuing on, we are going to New Mutants 9 from July of 1983, written by Chris Claremont, penciled by Sal Buscema, inked by Tom Mandrake, colored by Glynis Wein, and lettered by Tom Warzachowski, with a cover by Bob McLeod.
You know, if they wanted to do a Roman-themed story, they could have done that in a lot of other ways.
Did this introduce the Romans in the Amazon?
Yes.
Okay.
Because, like, this cover is really giving me the vibe that, like, they just wanted to do a themed thing. You know, to put, like, them in fun outfits and do Roman shit. And it's like, you could have done that in a different way, Chris. There was a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I still hate the way they draw Rain's hair. That's not how a buzz cut looks.
Well, they talk about the texture of her hair, too, though, so maybe it's just deliberate.
Yeah. It's just the weird, like, stripiness of it that bothers me. Like, the spikiness is fine, but it's the weird stripes, which I guess are meant to show, like, you know, layers of it, but I don't know, it just looks weird to me.
Now, what can I tell you about Tom Mandrake, other than that I love his name?
Oh, we have a new person.
Yep. Can't tell you a whole ton about him, other than that he's got a whole family of comics professionals.
Oh boy.
Ooh.
He's married to another artist who we'll run into in the 90s, Jan Duursema, and his daughter Sian, I'm not sure. Sian? Unclear. S-I-A-N. Sian, I'm going to say. Sian Mandrake, his daughter, is also an artist and colorist. Most of the rest I found is his professional bibliography, so that's not high on fun facts. He's known for his horror work, though.
Cool.
With a buttload of Roman soldiers at their backs, the children come forward through the rough-hewn tunnel to Nova Roma. There's no way to go but forward.
Oh, boy.
The city, tucked away in a mountain valley, only accessible by this tunnel, is an impressive sight.
So, like, this is visible on satellite, you know?
Yes, but it's covered by cloud cover, so that's...
Infrared satellites don't care.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
For a moment, the kids just admire the sight, amazed how Roberto's mother was right about an ancient civilization at this location.
Just the wrong one.
No, I'm not sure this is exactly what she had in mind.
No. Probably not.
At the mention of his mother, Berto's mood sours, wondering why they don't just use their powers to bust loose and resume their search for the missing woman. Danny protests that they're in rough shape, and her opposition is seconded when the hitherto unconscious,
in quotes,
Amara sits up in Sam's arms, insisting they not fight, as there's more going on here than they know. Danny had hoped that once they arrived here, the Legionnaires might be willing to help them find Roberto's mother.
I'm guessing she's just dead, but sure.
What they instead help them find is a dungeon, closing them all inside until morning. After checking for eavesdroppers, they can finally get some real answers from Amara.
Hey, her hair changed?
Yeah.
And also she's wearing earrings now.
Yeah.
And she has a dress on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where the dress came from. I thought she was wearing earrings before, though.
I don't
Maybe
remember.
she was. I didn't notice.
She's
But also her hair is completely different.
She's a completely different woman.
Yeah. She's also a different color, but we did address that.
Yeah.
She explains that she, Amara Juliana Olivia Aquila, is daughter to Nova Roma's first senator, Lucius Antonius Aquila. She then drops the bad news that if Nina had been brought to Nova Roma, she'd be here, something which only further enrages Roberto, who slinks off to be alone for a bit, or as alone as one can be sharing a dungeon with 5 other people.
Of course, how convenient that the girl that they randomly kidnapped turns out to be, important.
What Danny doesn't get is why she was disguised as a native girl when she could be living in luxury. So Amara begins to explain. Not all Nova Romans are descended from Europeans. A good number can trace their lineage back to the Incas, and from them a faction has arisen with imperial intentions, keen to see a rise of a form of government closer to that empire than their own republic.
Oh.
Try to form an empire in the middle of Brazil.
Okay,
Oh my
but
God.
hang on, wait. The part of that I latched onto is that the bad guys are the native ones. The
Yeah.
Europeans are the good guys.
Of course. You know this is going to be put down by Brazil with the aid of the United States, like that.
The cringe persists.
She's part of the opposition, though doing her best to keep her dad out of it, knowing how it would impact both his career and her cause. What Berto wants to know is why she bothered them at all. But that's mostly just because the Nova Romans are a paranoid lot, untrusting of strangers. The kids then break away from the girl to discuss. Perhaps understandably, most of the New Mutants remain wary of their new friend, especially Rain, who thinks Aquila is still holding back on them. Perhaps it's this thought that triggers Danny's powers. Better that than the inexplicably Chris gives us. Anyway, she manifests a woman pushing Amara into a pit of flames.
Chris, you're writing like Stan. Things suddenly happen inexplicably.
Yeah.
This terrorizes the girl, who recognizes the woman as the Black Priestess. Even though she didn't mean to, Sam's aggravated with Moonstar for it. But just as aggravated with the situation. His blast field begins to form up around him as he readies to make a charge at the door. But before he gets the chance, Roberto stops him, worried that Cannonball's going to bring the roof crashing down on them.
Fair enough.
He opts to try it himself with a more focused application of force. Amara this time tries to stop him, but she's too late. Sunspot smashes the door to splinters, and nearly simultaneously a barrage of curare-tipped poison darts fire from alcoves in the wall, downing all of the kids with first paralysis and then unconsciousness.
Congratulations!
As all of this is happening, we turn to the private senatorial bathhouse of Nova Roma, where the powerful soak.
And of course it's a patriarchy.
Well, yeah.
Of course it is.
They're-
I know it's Rome, I know.
It wouldn't be anything else.
I know.
You know, what if our senators had a private bathhouse?
Were they... What if we were both American senators and we bathed together?
5 feet apart because we're not gay.
Because we're not stupid.
One of the senators quickly passes through on his way to parts unknown, but his progress is impeded when Senator Aquila calls out to him. It's not a welcome interruption for Gallio, captain of the Civic Guard. He was on his way to deal with the kids. Of course, Lucius already knows this, much to Gallio's annoyance. Aquila wants to know just what Gallio intends to do with the kids, and the answer is forthcoming. For all prisoners, the same punishments as usual. Women go to the auction block, men go to the arena. Lucius then claps Gallio on the shoulder. Glad to hear it.
How does nobody know about these people?
I don't know, but there have been rumors that, people have gone up here before, but, they've always gone missing.
Always?
Yes.
So you'd think, I don't know, the Brazilian army would have been sent in.
Apparently they don't care.
Cool. Love it.
As the two part ways, there's no love lost. Aquila knows he forced Gallio's hand there, and that it will be the children to pay the price. By the time he returns home, Senator Gallio is furious. Aquila was right on the money. He'd heard about the children's abilities and had designs on them. Right up until Lucius flushed them right down the drain. Fuming, he drains a goblet of wine before casting it across the room, the empty vessel landing at the feet of his wife, Celine. After hearing what happened, she's right at her man's side, promising that she could just kill him. But Gallio wants the satisfaction of ending Lucius himself, and her magics won't grant him that. Celine is cool to his rebuff, but she's got other tricks up her sleeve.
She's wearing green and yellow, so you know that she's bad.
Hey, Chris, are you sure you want to be writing X-Men right now? Because I feel like there are other books where you could tell a story like this that'd be more up your alley.
This is fine.
I'm
not mad about this.
This just doesn't feel like whatever New Mutants has been up to this point.
What the fuck has New Mutants been up to this point?
New Mutants has kind of been all over the place.
Yeah, but this is more... Romans in the Amazon is more all over than...
No. That's fucked up. That's a completely different issue, right?
I'm enjoying politics right now.
Yeah, this is not a problem for me. And that's separate from Romans in the Amazon. You can take this...
This is Romans in the Amazon.
No. You can take this out of context, okay? And not know that it's Romans in the Amazon. Is what I'm saying.
She instead pulls her husband by the hand down a winding stone staircase into the catacombs underneath their villa. She's got something to show her husband. Possibly another route to the throne. With a wave of her hand, what was once a blank wall transforms before their eyes to a door, unnerving hubby dearest a wee bit. And on the other side of that door, Castro.
Hang on. He says Senor, but it's spelled Senhor. Is that...
I've seen that.
And maybe Portuguese.
Portuguese, that's what I was going to ask. Yeah, okay.
Lucky for him, Gallio speaks English for some fucking reason.
I mean,
why not?
Considering... Why are they speaking... Never mind.
It doesn't matter. Don't question it.
I hate it.
So Castro quickly gets to business, introducing himself and offering weapons and help in exchange for mining rights for his master. Gallio is intrigued by the offer and agrees that as soon as the uncouth barbarian has a bath, they can talk out his deal upstairs.
Fair enough.
We turn now to the House of Women, where Danny, Rain, and Amara are all being pampered so as to bring the best price on the auction block.
Fun.
The girls first get talking about their hair. Rain's envious of Danny, since her own pretty much won't grow beyond its current length. The women tending them bring out the wine, and Danny and Rain drink deep, even going back for seconds, despite Amara's whispered warnings that it's drugged.
Why? I don't understand why they're doing any of this.
Fan service.
No. I understand why it's being written. I just don't. I think it's bad writing because I don't understand why Danny and Rain would do this. I mean, they've been kidnapped and taken.
Yeah.
Explicitly told that they were being taken as slaves.
Yeah, no, this is...
Why would they just be chilling right now? I don't get it. It's out of character. It's bad writing. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Guess maybe they were taking at spear point and this seemed better than the alternative.
They're having a better time than the boys.
That is very true, actually.
Yeah, but that...
I'm not excusing it. I'm just saying what John is saying is actually canonically true.
No, I understand that. I'm sorry. I'm just annoyed.
Yeah, no, this is...
Rightfully so.
It's stupid. It's stupid. Even ignoring all the other issues, this is stupid, out of character, and bad. And it makes no sense.
It is stupid, out of character, and bad.
That's all I'm saying.
So, I'm not disagreeing with you.
I know, so continue.
Amara's too late, though, and within moments the girls are giggling away at the thought of the professor's wrath. They are, in a word, toasted. And it's not going to get any better, as Amara hears plans to drug them again in the morning before the arena show as well. So they remain happy, just as happy and giggly in the crowd while their friends fight and die. She resolves to try again after nightfall, creeping in once the girls have fallen asleep. She tries to wake her new friends, warning them of the grim fate in store for them after they're sold, but it's no use. The girls are hammered. She's going to have to go to her father alone, noting that he's not going to be happy to see her, having sent her away to save her from the cult of the Black Priestess, whose identity for now remains unknown. She creeps through the darkened house of women, feeling increasingly physically unwell. First, a dizzy spell leaves her barely able to stand. Then she's overcome by hot flashes so intense as to be painful, wondering what's wrong with her. Amara resolves to deal with that later, after the business at hand, but then she looks up to see her. Gallio's wife, Celine, unnervingly happy to see the girl, and by name. Uh-oh. As Amara faces trouble, the boys hang chained from a wall beneath the arena, watching two combatants spar.
Delightful.
Wonderful.
See, I told you they were having a better time. It's friendly fighting for now, but for soon they'll all be before the bloodthirsty crowd. Roberto tries to summon up his abilities to break his chains, but it seems the boys too have been drugged. The combatants explain that if they do well in the fight, they may even win their freedom. Sam doesn't find that particularly fair, drugs and all. But don't worry, more drugs are coming before the fight, and these ones are uppers to get them raring to go.
Oh boy.
Oh no.
And so soon enough, the time comes for the fight to begin. The masses of Nova Roma flood the stands, eagerly awaiting the day's blood sports, socializing and placing bets. Soon, the editor of the game, Senator Marcus Gallio, enters his box, accompanied by his wife and the drugged young women of the New Mutants, eyes glazed over as they fail to take it all in a dreamlike haze.
Danny is not pink.
No, she is not.
She's very white.
It's
better than pink.
Yeah?
Down below, Falco and Rogier,
Falco.
Rogier?
the two combatants who were sparring earlier, salute, ready to die. Back behind the scenes, Berto and Sammy aren't quite ready for prime time yet.
Not ready to die.
Held fast by two hulking brutes until the third man enters the slave pens with a skein of wine. They resist, but with their captor's help, the wine is poured down their throats. A drugged wine meant to overcome their inhibitions and make them fight like men possessed.
Release your inhibitions. Feel the rain on your skin.
No.
The drug will dull their sense of pain and put a bear shirt on them until they're either dead or victorious. And with that, the boys are unceremoniously shoved out into the arena.
Mm-hmm.
Sam does his best to fight the effects of the drug, but Bobby Boy, not so much. He's just ready to fucking go.
Oh boy.
Are we ever going to talk about the fact that Bobby is just the fiery Latino?
That is...
Because I've been avoiding it for a very long time, but just like...
I mean, there's a lot we could talk about with this team. I feel like.
Considering the makeup of the team, it's an attempt for more diversity.
Yeah.
It doesn't always hit the mark.
It's an attempt, which is more than you could say for a lot of things from this era. But, you know, it definitely suffers from, like...
stereotypes?
A lot of stereotypes and biases that are, again, very typical of the time, so...
It's just, it always gets to me every time Roberto's first instinct is angry.
And he's also black, so...
He's always angry, and I just, like, every time.
Double threat. Yeah, I mean, it's not good.
No.
Yeah.
So Bobby Boy, he's ready to fucking go, of course.
Of course.
He takes out the gladiators with one mighty swat, stunning and exciting the crowd, including the girls. But at Roberto's display, giant spiked machines roll out to greet the boys.
That doesn't seem fair.
That doesn't seem very Roman.
If they think that's going to be enough to slow them down, they didn't count on Cannonball.
Oh boy.
He blasts through one of them, scattering gladiators far and near. Not all of them safely. But they don't care about the safety of the kids either, so the kids don't care about theirs right now.
Look,
I think that's fair.
Look, this is not an OSHA-approved workplace. This was never an OSHA-approved workplace. So, what are these two?
It's functionally not a workplace.
This is a workplace.
They are being forced. It's not a workplace.
Some people here are being paid. This is a workplace.
I don't know about that.
A chariot does its best to run Sunspot down, and even succeeds. But not fatally. He somehow slides between the pounding hooves of the horses by sheer luck.
That's questionable.
Yeah.
And grabs the back of the chariot from underneath, hurling it over into a second chariot. This as Sam blasts through the second of the massive spiked war machines. And that only leaves the two boys. And in their berserker rage, they're not going to stop. Sam slams into Roberto from behind, sending the younger boy flying. Meanwhile, up in the stands, Senator Gallio just watches. Assured that should the boys get too rowdy and turn on them, his archers have got it handled. You know, just like those war machines had Cannonball handled.
Right. That's gonna help.
Back in the ring, the boys face off once more. This time Roberto's not caught off guard. When Cannonball rams into Roberto's punch, they collide with a thunderous boom that drains both of their powers, leaving the boys sprawled on the sand.
Of course.
But not for long. They quickly pull themselves out of the dirt to get back to beating on one another, determined not to stop until only one remains. They roll around, attempting to pummel one another, Sam using his superior height to his advantage to pin the smaller boy so he can wail on him, right up until Sunspot begins to get his powers back, and then the tables turn real quick. Up in the stands, the still drugged Rain cheers on the violence right up until that point, at which she begins to get worried, crying out for her love?
Yeah.
What's going on there?
I don't know.
Huh?
I thought she had a crush on Roberto.
That's what I thought.
Okay.
Kids.
Yeah.
Kids stuck in Roman Brazil.
Mm-mm.
I don't know if it's that. They just change gears real fucking quick.
Yeah.
The guards in her box don't really care about her crush, though, and they restrain her. If only for a moment, because an instant later she transforms into her lupine form and easily shakes them off,
Yeah.
leaping from the box down into the arena. All of this chaos and Rain's contact over their mental mind link is enough to finally snap Danny out of her dazed state. Realizing how bad things could turn with Bobby and Sam, she knows what she has to do. Shock them out of their drugged haze the same way before they kill one another. So she reaches into their minds, summoning up a spirit form of Professor X.
Well, they probably are afraid of him.
It works, and she then follows Rain down into the arena, ready to face whatever comes with her friends. It could be ugly. The crowd cheers for blood. Frightened by the display of their powers, they call for the archers, lining the wall to execute them. But Senator Gallio has other ideas. Instead, he presents them with the laurel wreath of triumph, proclaiming their coming as the fulfillment of a prophecy. He sees Rain with her red hair and her wolfen form as a descendant of not only Julius Caesar, but the wolf who suckled Remus and Romulus, the mother of Rome.
Oh.
Okay.
The children, he proclaims, are the descendants of gods, and the crowd goes wild.
Alright.
Wow. That
That was a quick turnaround.
sure happened.
Yeah.
How'd y'all like that?
I mean, again, setting aside the inherent cringe, I liked it more than the last one. I mean, if you read this one standalone, you could get a complete issue without knowing the cringe. So I'm gonna give it a 3.
I'm still giving it a 2. I don't
Okay.
like this.
That's fair.
What don't you like about it?
Ah, boy.
Where to start?
That's the...
Well, that's what this section's for.
It's bad. It's just bad.
Just bad. You heard it here, folks.
It's just bad.
It's just bad. I like how the artist doesn't know how to draw a wolf.
Sal's never seen a wolf in his life.
Or a dog, apparently.
I think I'd agree with you at a 3. I liked a lot of the politics, and we'll get more politics going forward.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought the politics was fun.
Yeah. I agree. John's not enjoying it. It's fine.
What did CMRO think?
What do you think CMRO thought?
4.
3?
2.88.
They're liking this, I think, less than some of the previous ones.
Yeah.
They have not been overly fond of New Mutants in general.
Wow, that tracks.
Yeah.
Last up is New Mutants 10, written by Chris Claremont, penciled by Sal Buscema, inked by Tom Mandrake, colored by Glynis Wein, and lettered by Tom Orzechowski with a cover by Bob McLeod. The New Mutants are carried through the streets of Nova Roma atop a giant palanquin, her citizens cheering on Rain in particular and the kids in general. They're all a bit unsure about it, but it beats a life of slavery and death, so they'll take it. Up at the front of the parade rides Senator Gallio, smugly thinking about how he plans to use this to his advantage. If everything goes his way, he'll be emperor of this place in no time, and Senator Aquila, who even now looks on hatefully, will be helpless to stop him. But not all in the procession are in such a cheerful mood. Despite the cheers of the crowd, Roberto's thoughts dwell on his mother, seemingly lost to the rapids, as well as his uncertainty over their safety. Looking at him, Danny can tell something is wrong, but if he won't open up, there's only so much she can do.
No shit, Danny. I wonder what could be wrong about this situation.
Yes, this is a perfectly normal situation, I'm sure. This happens every Thursday.
Finally, the parade ends at a palace that puts the X Mansion to shame. And the children finally have a chance to relax a little. Rain is more than a little uncomfortable at having been referred to as a goddess. But Senator Gallio proposes that perhaps the gods of old were mutants just like them. But enough of that. With the clap of his hands, an array of slaves bring forth dinner for the children, leaving them again uncomfy.
Yeah.
Still, the food is delicious, and it's only after chowing down that they speak more with Gallio, having caught on to the dirty looks that Senator Aquila was shooting them with during their parade. And so Senator Gallio begins to explain. Where Gallio is a member of the noble patrician class, Aquila is a common plebeian. A senator, yes, but a power-hungry one, seeking the throne. If rumor is to be believed. Sam is dubious. Something smells fishy about this guy. He reminds him far too much of the smooth-talking mine execs.
Oh, Sam. His old down-country wisdom.
Oh, Sam. When all you know is mining, everything feels like a mining reference.
Love this guy.
Oh.
So he tries to play it innocent with a, "Gosh, sir, that ain't what Amara told us." Buddy, weren't you supposed to keep her identity secret?
We never said he was bright.
Rain then snaps at him that Amara is a liar. But Gallio speaks next with a devil's tongue, insisting that she's just being a faithful daughter, while with the next breath pointing out that she wasn't there with them in the arena, arguing that she's no friend of theirs, which Rain heartily agrees with, offering their help should Gallio need it.
Great.
What's
Thanks for volunteering, everyone, Rain.
Rain, what's up? What's going on?
She's like 13, man. She's like the babiest of the group.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair.
And with that, the senator takes his leave, allowing the New Mutants to get some sleep.
You know what? The New Mutants should have been allowed to look for their missing friend with the X-Men.
Yeah.
That none of this would have happened.
Yeah.
Finally, with some peace, Roberto flexes out of his chest piece before lounging back. But he doesn't get much relaxation time before Rain and Sam start arguing. Sam's upset she volunteered their help without asking first.
Yeah.
Especially since they don't know all the players here and what they're about. Rain thinks she knows what Sam is about, though. She thinks he has a crush on Amara, and it's fucking with his judgment. His rest ruined, Berto leaves the room, abandoning the argument to Danny while he dwells on his sadness. He thinks back on all he's been unable to save, wishing his dad were here right now. But that's when he looks out the window and sees something that shocks him outside. A red-haired woman who looks strikingly similar to his mother being led through the plaza. Immediately he dashes down the stairs and out the doors, only to be met with weapons. There are guards posted at the doors to keep them inside. For their protection, of course.
I love how they all speak English.
Right? Per Senator Gallio, there are those seeking to harm them. This infuriates DaCosta, and he sunspots up. But the episode of temper doesn't last long this time. Within moments he calms down, reminding himself that the man is just doing his job. Of course it helps that by this time the woman is long gone anyway. After nightfall, at another entrance to the palace, Danny also finds the exit guarded. But unlike Roberto, with her abilities, she can simply summon up the image of some sexy ladies to draw the guards away from their posts.
Wow.
I like how she's expanding.
Yeah, she's not like solely triggering people now.
Yeah.
Beyond that, she should be able to blend in, counting on her native heritage to allow her to pass for one of the city's Incan descendants. She's only just gotten out when a hand wraps around her mouth and gives her the old stage hook treatment. As the night wears on, we find Rain and Roberto waiting by the window. Rain's worried over how long Danny's been gone, but she's just in general not feeling great, chagrined over how she spoke to Sam, ashamed over how she prefers life as a wolf to that as a girl, and don't even get me started on the religious guilt.
Oh, boy.
The Catholic guilt.
Protestant guilt, but still.
Oh, I thought she was Catholic.
No, she's a Protestant.
Okay. But she's Scottish. Or Irish?
She's Scottish. Scottish are more Protestant.
Okay. Got it.
Roberto's not really sure what he can say to make it better, but she's spared the awkward moment when gunfire erupts from behind the curtain.
I mean, Roberto can't probably say much to help her Protestant guilt, considering he's probably Catholic.
Yeah. Give her some Catholic guilt instead.
Yes, that'll work.
It'll help.
That'll definitely improve the situation.
Mm-hmm.
The gunshot strikes Berto in the shoulder and knocks the boy through the window. Luckily for him, he's got two things on his side. Sam Guthrie was sleeping in the room, and he wakes up quick.
As proven.
Wow.
Cannonball kicks it on, blasting through the wall and towards the ground just in time to catch DaCosta. While up in the room, in her lupine form, Rain leaps at the would-be killer, fangs bared.
Is this the same artist as the last issue?
Same artist, same finisher, actually, yeah.
Okay, he doesn't know how to draw wolves. She looks more like a big cat in this panel.
I don't know what to do with it.
I mean, there's nothing to do with it. It's just like...
We need to send a letter back in time and complain.
Look at a dog, please.
We're looking at dogs, yes.
Oh. Ripley will always look at dogs.
That's a pretty cute dog.
Good job.
By the time the guards and Senator Gallio arrive, she stands atop the attacker's back, growling. Roberto recognizes Castro, enraged at the man who may have cost his mother her life. Gallio moves in, seeking answers for who could have possibly arranged this hit on the children.
Who could have done it?
First, Castro spits in the senator's face, refusing to tell. But when Gallio threatens to turn DaCosta loose on him, he changes his tune real quick, fingering Senator Aquila for the deed. And that's all
he fingers
Gallio
him.
That was stupid.
Sorry. Sometimes I just act on instinct and it's not always good.
I approve.
Thank you.
And that's all Gallio needs to finally issue the arrest warrant on his hated rival. Meanwhile, we catch up with Danny as she awakens in a bikini on a bed of soft grass.
The fuck?
Great. So glad.
Amara and another girl out of it beside her. They've all been drugged, though Moonstar supposes her mutant metabolism is responsible for her quicker recovery than the others.
Sure.
Because Amara's too out of it to give her any answers. The big torch-wielding fella sent to fetch him isn't, though. They're all here to be sacrificed.
Cool.
And so at Spear Point, he forces the young women to their feet and down a cave pathway. It exits before a pit of bubbling lava, the sanctuary of the cult of eternal flame.
You know that Romans made a big deal about how they didn't sacrifice humans. Never mind the fact that the...
Well, remember, half of this city is not
That's
Roman.
True.
Yeah.
So this is even more cringe.
Yes.
This is where the girls will be sacrificed. Danny feels fear and dread spouting icy in the pit of her stomach despite the heat, and she knows something is up. Then she appears, Celine, and from atop her dais, high atop a flight of stairs, she calls to the girls. And it's more than just a simple command. Danny feels the psychic compulsion she's only previously felt under Professor X. With her training, she can resist, but the first girl, the one without a name, steps forward, even as she pleads not to.
She's nameless, that means she's gonna die.
Yep.
If only she was wearing a red shirt, it would be more obvious.
Red bikini.
It's not. She has a red headband.
That's it.
There we go.
Without her powers, Danny is helpless to do anything but watch. She realizes with horror that it's Celine who's blocking her powers as the young maiden crests the stairs, stepping to the platform's edge. She looks terrified as Celine shoves her into the fire, proclaiming, "I do you the supreme honor, girl, for with your death you give me life. I am, after all, a goddess who has walked the earth since before the dawn of history."
Cool.
Uh-huh.
She then turns to her remaining sacrifices to decide which one comes next.
Alright.
Fun.
Rest in peace is that girl.
At the Aquila household, a gentle peace is soon broken when Sunspot comes punching through the wall.
Oh, yeah.
Lucius's guard immediately reacts, but they're not ready for Sunspot and Cannonball.
It's not. Most people are not ready for that.
Yeah.
Roberto just wants to butt heads, but Sam's still not so sure. It seems too convenient and way too fast. While outside, Rain isn't allowed to participate. Far too precious to the denizens of the city to risk.
Yeah.
Of course.
Sam swoops low to scoop up an alarmed Roberto. They need to talk about his concerns. He's worried that in this raid, Aquila may accidentally suffer an untimely death before he ever sees trial. Their goal is to prevent that, to which Berto agrees. Meanwhile, down below, the Centurions bust down the door to Senator Aquila's quarters to find the senator in a less than peaceful mood. Sword drawn, he stabs the first to make a move. Rightfully so, because these guys went in with orders to kill.
Yeah.
Suddenly, Berto and Sam come busting through the wall. They quickly capture Aquila, forcing the men to stand down. Lucius pulls a neener on Senator Gallio. But it's short-lived, just like the reprieve on his life will be if the evidence at trial stands up. Sure, it's probably false evidence, but who's counting? As it stands, Gallio is victorious over his rival and has him taken away. This whole discussion takes place in front of the boys, but in Latin so they don't understand. That's what they think anyways, because unbeknownst to them, Roberto inexplicably just knows Latin for reasons.
I actually have a pretty reasonable reason, and I already said it.
Oh, Catholic.
Catholic.
Yeah.
If you're Catholic enough...
Also, I mean... I don't know anything
Catholic,
about it.
if you're Catholic in Brazil, you're probably doing church in Latin. So, since he's from a wealthy family, he was probably educated to learn Latin.
Alright. See, I was just going to say I would question that, but I suppose it makes no less sense than the people here who just know English.
Look, it makes way more sense that he would know Latin than there are Romans in the Amazon, okay?
See, my explaining the Romans who know English was taking random slaves who know English.
It would make way more sense if they were speaking Portuguese.
That makes more sense to me too, but man, fuck if I know.
The only one who should...
See, I was just thinking Latin is the root language of a lot of European languages, so maybe it's just you know how sometimes when you hear another language that has Latin as the root, you can kind of feel like you get the gist of what they're saying? Kind of, sort of?
No.
No?
No.
Okay, well, that's a thing.
Romance languages are a mystery to me.
It's a thing. I'm not saying you can understand any language if you know any other fucking language. I'm just saying that sometimes...
Meanwhile, Amara has ascended the stairs to stand at the edge of Celine's lava platform. She's not the first member of the Aquila family the Black Priestess has taken either, bragging about how she previously murdered her mother.
Great.
And now the whole family will be wiped out along with their dream. Down below, Moonstar has heard enough. Celine's will is strong, but Dani struggles against it with all of her might, finally mustering the strength needed to break free and manifest a spirit form of her guard's greatest fears, an even more monstrous, twisted version of Celine.
Wow, they're working for their greatest fear. Impressive.
I mean... if I had a boss like that...
Yeah, that's fair.
Loose now, she sprints up the stairs towards the priestess, wishing desperately that she had a ranged weapon so she didn't have to.
That's also fair.
Instead of getting at her through spirit forms, it turns out Celine
has really long arms.
Wow.
Turns out she's immune to mind tricks.
Sure.
This happens way too fucking often.
It does.
And she grabs the young mutant by the throat, recognizing the young mutants now for what they are, and intending to use the children to hunt the world over.
Huh.
Okay.
While Danielle's struggle is in vain, it forces Celine to concentrate, and she loses her focus on Amara, who's not just going to stand back and watch. Instead, she launches herself at the Black Priestess. Perhaps not the wisest move on a platform above a lava pit.
Against a woman with absurdly long arms.
Yeah. She really does.
Celine merely swats her backwards, and the girl plummets into the pit of bubbling rock.
Rip.
Suddenly the ground begins to rumble. Outside buildings topple, and massive rifts form in the crust of the earth. And back in the pit, a geyser of fire erupts from the surface of the lava.
Okay.
Sending sprays of molten rocks flying. It's Amara, reborn of flame, and here for some payback.
Oh. Alright.
How'd y'all like that?
This was better.
3 again.
I think I'm willing to give this a 3. This was better. The Roman stuff is still pretty dumb, but this is better.
Okay.
I think I'll also give it a 3.
Alright.
You gave it a 3 as well?
I did, yes.
What do you think Samuro gave it?
A 3.
5. 2.
Gave it a 2.93, so they were pretty close to 3.
Okay.
Said I think that's going to be it for us this week. We're going to wrap up the Roman storyline next issue.
But we'll never forget the Romans in the Amazon.
Ugh.
Is it as bad as you thought it was going to be?
Worse.
It's really worse than you thought?
Yes. I've encountered them elsewhere, but no one's ever stuck around for like more than an issue.
So it's the length that's the bad part?
No, this is just... I don't know, it's not good.
I mean, obviously. We know it's not good. We didn't expect it to be good.
I don't know.
New Mutants in general is not great. I feel bad saying it.
I mean, if it's true, it's true.
An attempt was made for something kind of ambitious, actually, around 1980.
Yeah,
and
83.
Sometimes you try something and you just don't hit the goal.
Like this does not feel like we have seen some of Claremont's better work. This is not it.
To be fair, this is aiming for something different, and it is kind of a kid's book, I think. It's aiming for a different audience.
Yeah.
You hadn't even thought of it that way, but that makes sense, considering...
It's aiming for making more money, because the X-Men was doing really well. So editorial decided they wanted more.
Well, yeah, but with Claremont writing both X-Men and New Mutants, someone, somewhere, made the decision that X-Men is going to be a slightly higher age group set of issues.
I mean, but the teen books are generally aimed at a slightly younger audience than the...
Yeah, they're more general.
But the X-Men themselves got the grand privilege of aging.
Well, we've barely been with the New Mutants for any amount of time, so...
We're 10 issues in.
Well, yeah.
So
yeah, I know.
They haven't aged yet.
I know, but it's a privilege for characters to get to grow up.
Okay.
We'll get there. Anyway, let's go through our closing stuff. If you could do us the great service of hitting the buttons down below, like, subscribe, and hit that bell button if you want to hear more from us. We'd really appreciate that. We're also over on social media. We're on Tumblr, Twitter, and Facebook. Really appreciate that if you'd follow us over on there. If you want to throw us a couple bucks, throw us a foot.
Throw us a foot.
Throw us a foot. Throw us a fucking...
Yes, that.
A fucking foot.
Throw us a fuckle cocks.
Oh, God.
There's a fuckle cocks over on coffee.
They definitely permit that.
If you want to shoot us an email, we are comicsplaining@gmail.com. Other than that, I think that's it for us.
Like, subscribe, leave a comment.
did that.
Did you do that?
Yeah.
I didn't remember.
Oh, leave a comment. I didn't say anything about leaving a comment.
Leave a comment.
There was plenty of cringe. Let us know what you thought of all the cringe.
So much cringe.
John, I'm sure, thought that was even more cringe than we thought there was.
John is turning in on themselves physically because they're cringing so hard.
So much
You're gonna
cringe.
implode.
Yes, you're correct.
Anyway, that's going to be it for us this week, and we look forward to talking to you next time. Bye!
Bye!
Are you ready? Go!
It's me again, Ripley. After the music has ended, all alone, all by myself. Of course, we realized after the fact that probably we should have addressed the upcoming election and the fact that we have as small of a platform as it is, a platform, and we have at least some responsibility to use our voices to encourage you to go to the polls this November. And shockingly, it is almost November. Yeah, oh God. Time slips by, time slips away, the shocking march of time slips by me every day. Poetry. Just what you were hoping for, I'm sure. Anyway, I'm sure you know where we stand on the issue. I'm not going to get into another preachy screed like I did that one time. I don't have anything prepared. I think this is a fairly consequential election, but I am fucking exhausted. And remember, it's not only Trump and Harris that are running this election. There are people running all up and down your ballot. So there are all kinds of resources out there that can help you look up and down the ballot to see who's running and where they stand on your local issues. So I would recommend you look into some of those. I believe Ballotpedia, if I'm not mistaken, is one of them. Anyway, we highly recommend you go to the polls, as the 4 or 5 of you that this will reach before Election Day. Go ahead and Pokemon go to the polls. Yeah, I'll keep on breaking out that one until the end of time. That was the cringiest shit I ever heard, and I just revel in the cringe. Anyway, bye-bye. Hopefully we all don't die.